Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and today it's just me, and unfortunately today it's a late podcast, and it's going to be a short podcast. We are, as I would said on previous podcasts, I'll be gone. Oops. I'll be gone. I just spoiled all Brian's picks. Oh, no. But, yeah, Brian gave me his picks. But the issue is that I'm going to be on vacation as of tomorrow, but we're leaving. We're supposed to leave today, actually, but my brother had his final day of work as internship, so we gotta wait until. And he just got home now. He worked till midnight or till 11, but we gotta leave super early tomorrow at like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. I think it might be 8, but we have to like get up and get ready by 7. So yeah, we were packing all day, so that's why I'm a little, or not packing all day, but packing tonight, basically. We started at like 10 for packing, and that's why we're late. But without further ado, we're going to do a brief podcast. Probably won't go over match history. I'll make some brief comments because there's definitely some stuff I did want to talk about. But for one, it would be the G2 versus Fnatic is absolutely one, or not, sorry. Well, yes, that one, but G2 versus Vitality with the Garen pick, that's the one I really want to talk about. But we have that, and then I also just briefly, let's just look here. First, we have major upset with Excel over Splice. They beat Splice before that 35-minute mark, and it was screw it. I'll do match history. Not they won't be in-depth match histories. They'll be quick. But there's so many good games that I feel like guilty not talking about them. Like I really don't really have too much time. But Splice versus Excel, they beat him at 32 minutes. It was a very good game for Excel. It actually put a 3-game winning streak together out of nowhere and put them in contention for playoffs, which is crazy to me. But we had that, and Mickey just popped off on the Relia, just fantastic. Jessica had a great game against Kabi, of all people. Like what? Like it is a fantastic. Like, how do you pop off on Ezreal Tom Kentrell? That you don't. You usually just lose to Sivir Nautilus. They have too much wave clear to stop you, and you're just playing super safe. Like you're just playing to forfeit the lane. But they won. I didn't necessarily win the lane. They didn't get any kills in lane, but they definitely got the kills and later on at the Baron and just popped off tremendous damage too, with 14k damage. But more than Sivir did, and just Mickey popped off. I was shocked by this game, to be honest. This game absolutely stunned me. SK versus Rogue, it was a back and forth throw fest with SK up 4k gold, lose the Baron, go down to a deficit, then get a bunch of kills, and then SK's gonna win, and then they threw again the Rogue. That was a good win by Rogue. And Finn on the Colette is really, really good. And Larson had, I mean, they're just a good game all around by Rogue. Not too much to talk about. Vitality versus G2 is something I really want to talk about. Vitality picks Fiddlesticks and wins the game. And I'm like, wow, that never happened. Almost all Fiddlestick supports always lose, in my opinion. But that's because G2 picked this. What the fuck? Into Karma! Listen, Garen, terrible pick for pro play. He does everything that other champions do way better for him, for professional play. Don't mind him too much for solo queue, but the issue for solo queue is that he can get poked out immensely, like super easy. He's a bruiser without any gap closer. He has his Q, but it's not like a quick gap closer. Especially, so like the worst case scenario is someone that can speed buff themselves and poke. Luckily, there's only like a very few champs that can do that. Oh wait, it's Karma. As one of the champs that was already picked. Oh my god, it was just like Garen did 1.8k damage. 1.8k. It's so bad. Listen, it wasn't the only reason they lost, but Attila and Jacktroll just destroyed Perks and Mickey on the bot lane. Like, look at that. That's 4 kills right there. Well, that was 2 kills in the bot lane, but then you killed the Garen and the Gragas as well. But look, all those deaths in the bot lane. Just ugly. And just all around, just not a good game by G2. They trolled too hard. They had a little for fun game there, And man, it must suck for the other teams, but Vitality got away with one big time. They got. I mean, you got to play the game. You can't pick for the enemy team, so it's not Vitality's fault by any means necessary there. But man, that's like they caught a break. That G2 was trolling that hard that day. Next we had Origin versus Misfits Academy. I'm still gonna call them whatever, but Origin actually looked good for the first time in weeks. Straight up dominate. They gave that first blood early to leader, and I'm like, oh my god, this is happening again. Origin's gonna lose yet again, but no, they kept it cool and calm. They were down 2-1, but after that they just swept through. Big blowout, not too big to talk about. It was only a 26-minute game, nearly 18k gold lead at 26 minutes. Fnatic versus SO4, same thing. This one I was very disappointed in SO4. I thought they'd put up much better fight, but every time they got a kill, they traded it back. Also, Fnatic picked Ivern. like, what? It worked. It worked great, but man, I don't necessarily. I mean, it works because you still have Corki and Aatrox. You're just giving Corki and Aatrox loads and loads and loads of shields and protection with Karma and Ivern and Tahm Kench for more safety. So you're really just relying on 2 hard carries, and Bwipo and Nemesis absolutely carried at 6-1 and 6 and 6-2 and 5. They did exactly what the team was meant to do. Sometimes you see team comps like this fall apart because the players don't do well on the 2 carry champs. It's almost like back in the Ardent Sensor days, the protect the Kog'Maw comp type situation, where if Kog'Maw died, everyone died. But yeah, it was a good win. It was a very good win by Fnatic. Very poor performance, I thought, by SO4. Just in general, I think their whole team played pretty poorly. Because they had a good team comp too, honestly. They had some good damage with Akali, Kennen, and Lucian, and good CC with Kennen, Sejuani, even Akali, and Nautilus as well. So they had everything there for fights. They just weren't doing it. Probably in all these fights that broke up in the top lane. SK versus Misfits Academy. Yeah, again, this is SK just stomped them, which was a shocker. And I blame Fiddlesticks support. It really... How much damage did that Fiddlesticks do? Exactly. Well, Yuumi only did 10.7k damage. Interesting. I felt like Yuumi was poking like crazy. But outside of that, Fiddlesticks did the least amount of damage on the team. Tell me what Fiddlesticks does properly. I know he has a fear and a silence. I get that part. But, like, he really needs to be doing damage. That's why I never like Fiddlesticks supports. He has that... The fear is clutch, but the silence really... It's great in lane for poke, but it's such a short silence duration that it really doesn't affect too much in a team fight, in my opinion. For the usefulness of it for the rest of the champions kit, the fear is a solid CC option, but outside of that, you got to set up for the ults. But the issue with in pro play is that people always have vision, or if they don't have vision, they have vision other places on the map. If they don't see you in that vision, they know exactly where you are. You're in the spot that they don't have vision. So that stuff doesn't happen in solo queue as much, but in pro play, they always know where Fiddlesticks usually should be, and they, for the most part, set themselves up in proper position to not get hit by a massive 5-man ult by Fiddle. And because of that, Fiddle, I've always said, is one of the worst supports in pro play, and it gets picked way too much for my opinion. But I'm not a coach, so what do I know, I guess? All I do is lose. I played another ranked game today because I'm just playing TFT. I don't play ranked anymore. This season's been god-awful. I think I talked about it during Spring Split, how bad of a season I'm having. I'm in Plat still, but like I think I've lost 8 games in a row now. Just playing like one game every month at this point. I'm so done with the season. I think I'm at like a 47% win rate. It's god awful. Like, just I want to die inside. There's no tanks. I play my tanks and I can't play my tanks because I'm just I'm trolling by playing tanks. So I'm trying to adapt, and it's been rough, and it's been so rough that I don't even play ranked anymore. I'm not even gonna lie. Which is a shame, I guess. But TFT's more fun to me. Next we had Vitality versus Excel. Excel coming on a 3-game winning streak. They had Juskla popping off on that Ezreal. He went 7-2. We got all these kills early, and I was like, oh my god, like Vitality. These two teams were probably the hottest two teams outside of like Well, G2 just lost. But like, so these two teams were pretty much the hottest two teams in the league, and they just came up against each other, which is so weird to say. If you would have told me like 3 weeks ago that Vitality and Excel were going to be the hottest teams in the league, I would have thought you were on massive amounts of drugs. But yeah, but yeah, Vitality just came in. They picked the Tristana. Jizuke's looking much better. Attila and Jektrol had a fantastic weekend, and Cabochard is still always popping off in the top lane. I think Cabochard still had a good year, and Vitality is now, I believe. Let's check real quick. Yeah, they're 7-7, completely brought their season back. And if you wanted to realize how like close Europe is, 1 game win streak, 1 game lose streak, 1 game win streak, 1 game win streak, 1 game lose streak, 3 game win streak for Vitality, 1 game lose streak, 1 game lose streak, 3 game lose streak for Misfits right now, and 1 game win streak for SK. So outside of Misfits' 3 game lose streak and Vitality's 3 game win streak, every team is just on a 1 game win or 1 game loss. Like everyone's just winning, losing, winning, losing. Like no one is going on big streaks like we see in like Korea with SK and SKT and stuff like that. I realize now, I still call them SKT. Aren't they T1? like, aren't they supposed to be T1, or is that next split? I don't even. I think they. Do they call them SKT? I'm totally blanking. I think they still call them SKT. It might just be in my head that they're SKT. But next, we had Splice versus Rogue. This game was all Splice the whole way through. You hit that 35-minute power spike, and Splice end of the game 22 seconds later. But no, they had this game the whole way. This one wasn't a situation where they fell behind early and just pulled it back through good team fighting. This was a dominant performance basically from the start. Once you hit that 15-minute mark and you're already at 7.4k gold lead, Rogue had no shot. This game was the most exciting game of the week, I think, where Origin versus SO4, we had some massive throws, all to the result of SO4 still winning. If you notice here, Cold stole the Baron, but then they did lose 4 members for it, but stealing the Baron is still stealing the Baron, and that stopped SO4 from being able to just push out and win the game, as SO4 at the time was at about a 2k gold lead, but with the Baron, they had been in a gold lead the whole game, and they had late game Kai'Sa, basically late game Akali, and then you had some fantastic tank and CCU through and engage through Jarvan, Gnar, and Thresh. So instead of taking Baron, they go down, they get an inhib, and they get some towers. They get 2 Nexus towers, by the way. That's very important to know. Or they get 1 Nexus tower. Sorry, they get 1 Nexus tower. And was it 1 or 2? Shit, I don't remember. Yeah, it had to be 1. It is 1. It was 1 because yeah, that's important. Because then, so they got that Nexus tower at 3727. So right here. And then they go and try to get the Elder Drake, and Cold goes over and steals the Elder Drake then. And this time, with the Elder Drake buff, unlike the Baron buff still gives a few extra like AP and AD, I believe. I don't think they took it out, right? It still gives some. And I'm going to look like an idiot. Like, nope, it hasn't given it in like 2 years, William. Like, cool. Well, it used to. I don't actually, now I realize I don't know the full extent of Baron buff. That's pathetic. As someone who watches so many games, I can't tell you off the top of my head if Baron buff gives it has to. It has to. I'm like 99% sure. But I'm like, that 1% is making me feel like they got rid of that at some point. Maybe they nerfed it. I don't know. They did something to Baron buff. Anyway, with Elder buff, more importantly, that gives you some true damage burn for your dragons you've taken and enhances your dragons, which I don't remember the dragons that Origin had actually. We can see right here they had Earth. They had 1 Mountain Drake, so that didn't help at all in that scenario that I'm talking about. But it did help with that true damage burn, and because of that, they were able to win the fight. They were able to take down 3 members of Origin. They took down the jungler, the top laner, and the mid laner. But unfortunately, while that was happening, Upset made the very 200 IQ play. It's like, there's minions in the bot lane or the mid lane. Let's just go down mid. Let's take the tower right here at 38 minutes or 39 minutes, and then just end the game 11 seconds after that because they are all busy in the dragon pit, and I'm just gonna end the game. And this is very deja vu from my game yesterday. I played in a normal. We got backdoored in a very similar situation, just on blue side with Baron right here. Got four for none, and Rengar just walked in and went boop. So that was the first loss. By the way, if Swain, my goal this year, because I don't like playing League nearly as much as I used to. But if Swain Yumi becomes meta, it's because me and we're nonstop spamming that in actually we're just doing normal. So I was gonna say in solo queue. We're gonna be doing it in flex queue because I can't actually play with these bronze. my cousin, but we're 6-0 with it, and it is. I'm so impressed with it. I'm actually just gonna show you guys some match history right before. Trust me. Trust me on this. It is the most broken bot lane since the Swain rework. Look at this. Look at this. That is really good. We pretty much carried every single game with it. Like, we are the main sources of damage and carries on the team every time. Even this game that we lost. It was a hard 46-minute game, but we had 58k and 31. We had the... Oh... Damn, they got close. we were basically number 1 and number 2 in damage every single game. So I just want to point that out. If you want to play that, it is super busted because it synergizes with everything. Can't really talk about that too much on the podcast because I don't want to get delayed that far. But just imagine every single ability of both of them mix super well together, and it makes for a pretty decent laning phase in an unstoppable late game. Next, the final game was Fnatic versus G2. Very close game until it wasn't. Like, you see back and forth, 1k gold lead at 17 minutes. So, like, you're like, oh, wow, this is going to be a very close, like, this game's going to go for a long time. And G2 takes Baron, wins fight, and then wins another fight, wins the game. Done. GG. All done. And like that within... Obviously, this Baron was taken... pre-20 minutes, according to this graph. So G2 is a bunch of cheaters now. Yeah, why is that graph like that? This is the 20-minute mark on the graph, and Baron is taken here. That's not right. But yeah, they took it very, very early, and pretty much on spawn, and just won the game, as you could tell. Good game though by Fnatic. I thought like they did play the. This is like the Fnatic like give Whippo Aatrox, give Nemesis Twisted Fate to Corki, and Corki was banned this game, so give him Twisted Fate or Uzier. And then give Reckless Karma, who apparently Reckless and Doublelift apparently are no longer ADC mains, as the only people that they play are Karma for Reckless and Sona for Doublelift. But yeah, it did not work this game as they went a solid 2-11 in the bot lane. But that is a quick rundown on the match history. See, I gave you a little bit. It was only 18 minutes worth, but hell, it was 18 minutes more than I expected to do, just because it was a crazy week. I like I said, I'm upset that I have to do a quick podcast because I really wanted to break those games down a bit more. But I can't. I gotta go to bed. Like, I gotta go to bed like 30 minutes ago, to be honest. But we're gonna go quickly through power rankings here. I have G2 at number 1, Fnatic number 2. Actually, me and Brian had the exact same power rankings up until like one. I think I have Excel number 7 and Rogue number 8. He has Rogue number 7 and number 8. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna die on that hill whatsoever. but G2, even though that loss with Garen, that was a for-fun game, I think. So they're still definitely the best team in Europe. Splice losing to Excel has dropped them to 3rd, even though they're tied with Fnatic and have the tiebreaker at the moment with the victory over them. I think Fnatic being able to... They lost to G2 and Splice lost to Excel. And then, like, I think that's a big difference in opponents, to say the least. So I think that Fnatic deserve to go up on that. Vitality on their hot streak, I actually had them going up against SO4. SO4 did lose to Fnatic this week, and they didn't look too great in that game. Where the second game, and then they barely beat Origin. Like, or I shouldn't say they barely beat Origin. They're beating Origin pretty handily if it wasn't for 2 miracle steals by Cold. But the fact that Vitality is looking really hot right now has them in 4th place for me. And they took down G2. I know it was with Garen, but hell, like, I'm not gonna leave you at 0 movement when you had a 2-0 week with a win against G2. It's impossible. So they're up to 4, and they're looking really good right now. Like, this is the Vitality of early spring split. We haven't seen them in quite a few months. SO4 is number 5 again, just mostly because Vitality's been so hot, and SO4 lost to Fnatic. Origin stays at 6, 1-1 week. That's basically what they needed to survive at the moment. Still in a risky position. Excel I have over Rogue just because Excel's been kind of hot. They lost their last game, but they were on a 3-game winning streak. Rogue has looked pretty shaky the last few. Rogue lost to Splice. Rogue beat SK, but before that they lost to Excel and Vitality and Misfits. So they had lost to Vitality, Misfits, Excel, and then Splice. So they're 1 and 4 in their last 5 games. So that's why I put them at below Excel. 3 and 2 is better than 0 and 4 or 1 and 4. And with the victory, as Excel had a victory over Rogue in that span as well. So SK moved over Misfits. I don't really want to do this one too much, but they're tied at the same record. I still feel like deep down Misfits is better than SK Gaming. I gotta sneeze. But I still think Misfits is better than SK Gaming deep down. But Ryan said Baron does. I just paused to read it. I should read it out loud. Ryan says he's here. Hi Ryan, by the way. Baron does give a buff, by the way. 80 and AP per usual, but the change was to give him more scaling to late game to go along with the buff to second Eldritch. Thank you. That was it. I knew there was like some decent change to it, and I just could not remember. I was 99% sure. To be clear, I was 99% sure, but there was a little doubt in my mind saying that they only gave it pushing power. Because they wanted Elder buff. Because it was related to Elder buff, they wanted Elder buff to give the true damage and like the extra damage. So in my head, I was thinking they changed Baron to just be pure pushing, but they did not. That's also 18 AP as well. Thank you though for the clarification. I appreciate it. But anyway, SK beat Misfits. They have the same record. I can't, in good faith, put them above them. That would be biased. So Misfits is down in 10th place at the moment. So with that, let's go to our predictions. Predictions for week 8. If you were here at the beginning of the podcast, you saw Brian's predictions briefly. You could pause it on the video for the YouTube video, but not that important. SO4 versus Misfits. I think SO4 should absolutely be okay here. I think, even though I like Misfits Academy better than what the original Misfits was doing. Oh no, Brian picked SO4. I'm just gonna troll Brian and pick the wrong thing. For some reason, I am on this twice. Yes, I'm on it over here. Okay, let's get rid of that. There we go. I'm picking SO4 here. Vitality over SK Gaming. I think that Vitality is on a super hot streak, and I still, deep down, believe SK Gaming is the worst team, if not one of the 2 worst teams in the league. So Vitality on their hot streak should be able to absolutely continue that and make a good. Yeah, I did see that Hans Sommer is starting for Misfits this week and by Mr. Runner, so it's not Misfits Academy anymore, but it's enough that a Misfits Academy that it's still. Gorilla and Soaz already leaving the team. It's like there's no Misfits left. The superstar lineup is gone already. I have Fnatic over Excel. I think even though Excel's been looking pretty good, I think Fnatic is way too big of an opponent for Excel to be able to take down this time around. Though, crazy things have happened in Europe. Like, there's been a lot of random upsets. Yeah, Max Slur is also left. I forgot about that. Which, in my opinion, is a good thing. Seeing Soaz and Gorilla leave was mixed feelings. I know the team just never meshed, but, like, I still felt like individually they were, like, very solid players still, and they're absolutely going to be picked up by a team this offseason, like, right away. But Max Slur, on the other hand, I wasn't feeling that same way. It might be picked up by a team, but it might be in a minor region like NA or something. NA needs some. Apparently, maybe welcome TSM Maxlore because they have some jungle problems. Apparently, that would not solve their problems. Next we have Splice versus Origin. I gotta go Splice this game. Origin did come out with their win finally. How is Origin? Like, what? They're in 6th place, I know. Yeah, they're in 6th place, but they're still only a game out of missing the playoffs against Rogue. And with the way they're only 2 games. Origin is only 2 games out of last place. That is absurd to me. Like, they looked so strong at the beginning of the split and looked strong at Rift Rivals, but then it's just immediately fallen apart since then. They finally did get 1 win, but that's all they've gotten in a long time. Since Rift Rivals, I think they only have like 2 wins. It's crazy. And I don't see them catching up to Team Vitality anytime soon, or any of these top 5 teams. So frankly, to be honest, like 6th place is the only spot that they can get. Ryan did say that TSM can't get Maxlore unless Sven leaves. Who's there? Oh, Broken Blade. I'm like, it's not Bjergsen, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's. We gotta see tomorrow, Saturday. I won't be able to watch those games live. I'm sad because I'll be up north. There's 0 phone connection or internet there, so I'm gonna be in the dark about NA playoffs until I get home. So I will be spicy. I really want to see Big now. Sorry, Brian. I want to see CLG to lose just so I can meet Big in real life. That's gonna be That's gonna be the greatest accomplishment of the podcast. Just getting pictures of Big. Gonna be like I'm gonna buy a Big jersey if they're in the final. if Optic and Soul jerseys there, I'm buying a Big jersey. Anyway, this is EU. Splice. G2 versus Rogue. G2, come on. Unless they pick Garen in the Karma again, I'm gonna. Can I use a mulligan for that? Like, unfair. I feel like we should be able to use a mulligan for last G2 game where they literally went Garen. Like we shouldn't have to accept that loss if they're playing Garen in the Karma. It's not fair. How do you predict that? Oh, they're just gonna play Garen, you know, the champion that no one ever plays in any pro game. Oopsies, I started that a little quick. Next, who just joined the Discord, by the way? Hey, Ryan. I don't know if your mic is working, but yeah. How are you? I don't think his mic is working. So we're gonna move on to until he says something. We're gonna talk about the next game, which is going to be Splice versus SK. Splice is going to is your mic working now? Maybe? Nope. Yeah, I hear it. Oh, you?
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know what happened there.
No, just mute my stream, by the way, because I can hear it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't. I can hear my stream in the background of yours.
Oh no!
So it's just
What in the world's happening?
no idea.
Oh no, Discord! Don't.
Discord is acting up like crazy. We're gonna go Splice this game though. Against SK, I think SK is one of the worst teams in the league, unfortunately. So Splice should be able to clean them up. SK won't be able to close the game out in 35 minutes, let alone get enough advantages early to do that in the first place. I should have said that backwards. But next we had SO4 versus Rogue. SO4 is going to be... Are you there, by the way, Ryan? Is it working now? No.
Hello?
No, I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess Discord was just doing some update stuff, so it's kind of messing with things.
Got it. Coming here at the very end of the podcast.
I know. To be honest, though, I was literally spent like probably about almost like the past 5 or 10 minutes just sitting and waiting for Discord to load up.
Because it was just...
I think it was because it was like I was like trying to pull up the Gamepedia site to look at the schedule like while Discord was up on the computer, so it was kind of like trying to load up too much at one time.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to briefly give me your picks for the last 6 games, the first 6?
Sure. Now I'm like swapping. Now I'm going onto my phone. to pull up this match schedule real quick. It's set. I had to give up on my Misfits hype, even though I
Yep.
believe in Hansama. I had to go Schalke in the first game. Um, SK showed some good things, better things than how they've looked last week, but not too much more. I think Vitality keeps riding their hype, so I picked them. G2 is G2. Let's move on. I would not be. I honestly would not be surprised if Excel actually beat Fnatic.
Really?
I actually would not because I don't know why. I just feel like Fnatic is just. I feel like they're trying to tried a little much before going into playoff mode, and they've kind of dropped the ball a couple of times in some of
I
these
agree
games
with that.
because of it.
I agree with that.
So you know what? I'll actually go ahead and give this one to Excel. Why
Nice.
not? Why not?
Nice.
Let's just
Bold.
make it spicy. Yeah.
Bold and spicy. I like it.
I mean, then again, they could just go freaking like super shield comp again, and then no one knows how to play against it.
Yeah,
The
really.
new double, like you said, new double lift Sona. It's reckless karma,
Yep, it's all it is.
Yep. And we'll go on Splice OG. Like I said, I think OG did look better, and I know they picked up Kays, who was actually
They
an
did.
analyst for
Liquid.
Team Liquid as well, and also for like used to be an old Fnatic analyst too. I think.
Was it? I didn't
Uh,
know that part.
I knew Team Liquid specifically, so
I
I
did
think
know
they
that as well.
might. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually kind of just all start gelling a lot better. But I think right now Splice still just look like more of the consistent team or the known quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give it to Splice for
And
this one.
Origin is a slow team, so you don't want to go slow toe to toe with Splice. It's the thing you do not want to do.
Yeah, that's also true. Um, and I guess for the next one, it's Schalke versus Rogue. I think Rogue, they're probably going to be in desperation mode. They're going to pretty much need to win this game
Mhm.
if they want to really stay in things. But I think that Schalke's just too strong right now.
Yep, I
I
agree.
think that anything that Rogue wants to try to do, like Schalke could just do better.
I just think that what Upset versus Woolite is just it's too big of a difference there in the bot lane.
That's true.
What do you have for Splice versus SK?
Um, I feel like this is actually a similar thing with the SK Vitality game. I feel like I feel like I'm more confident with SK Pop maybe getting something over on Vitality because Vitality can be very volatile as a team.
Mm-hmm.
They're prone to basically beating themselves.
Oh,
But I think
very
Splice,
much so.
yeah, but I think for as much the same reasons that I say, okay, Vitality just looks stronger. They're riding a better momentum, and they seem like a very momentum based team. I feel like Splice is much more controlled, much smarter of a team, and I don't think SK, unless they just get to a massive jungle lead early, they're just not going to be able to pull anything off. So I'd take Splice in this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Game number 8, we have Excel versus Origin. This one is gonna be a close match. I'm personally, I'll be honest here. Brian picks Excel. I'm 3 back from Brian. I was on a toss-up mode. I was probably gonna pick Excel, but I switched over to Origin because he picked Excel. I'll just be honest. I'm 3 games back with 2 weeks to go. I don't want another NA situation where I'm down 9 games by week 10 or week 9.
For this one, I actually I can kind of see like wanting to pick Excel for this one, but I went spicy with the Excel versus into Fnatic game, and I feel like I don't know, maybe that's just the NA freaking like storylines in me, and I'm just like, oh man, Excel they beat Fnatic, and everyone's gonna believe in Excel, and just when everyone believes in them, Origin just come in and smack them and just knock them back down to earth.
You got
Like,
some CLG in you, and C9 this year.
yeah, a little bit of everything. Just seems like a lot of NA in
Yeah.
general. But then again, I mean, EU's going on, and EU's from last week especially, it's kind of proven to be that it's not just not just an NA thing,
Yeah,
not just an NA thing.
for real.
I'll actually go. I'll go Origin in this game.
Nice.
I think Origin. If you're talking about a team that's going to go late, excel, like unless they just smash the hell out of the early game, I think Origin can just sort of play their game against Excel. And Excel will probably make mistakes against them, and Origin tends to be able to capitalize on them a little bit more than other teams. Like if they got to the sort of lead they did against what was it? I think it was Schalke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Origin
if they get into a situation with Schalke, Excel don't win. So and I think if Origin can manage that, then they won't have a problem.
Mhm.
They don't even need to have that be that far ahead.
Technically, I guess I think Shulk was winning the whole game,
Mhm.
but Origin had the Baron and then the Elder Steel as well. Crazy.
Exactly.
And then I don't think SK or XL gets backdoored. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Excel don't have upset.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
G2 versus Misfits.
It's a sad day for the it's a sad day for the rabbits, man.
Dude,
But yeah.
Misfits are my. I picked them on my Europe pass for my favorite team. I don't know why really. They were my favorite team more in spring, and then I kind of
Yeah.
bandwagoned off. But I think it's
Misfits were
mostly
always fun.
because of their run
World's run.
against SKT in Worlds is just like I've
Yeah.
always like had held the spot for them.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they are still called SKT right now.
Okay, they are still
They're
SKT.
not. They're not. They're not the Tyler One Korean League yet.
They're not. Okay, so that's what I
Not yet.
thought. Like I remember hearing that it was
Mm.
gonna happen in summer split because they couldn't do it mid split in spring because it was against the rules. But like, and then like, I
They
remember
just kept
hearing
calling them
that.
SKT.
Yeah, and then like I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard them call him T1 in the on any of the games I've watched. I'm pretty sure it's SKT. Then it's the same thing with the Baron, where that like little seed of doubt gets in your head, but you're live on the podcast. You don't want to look it up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah. I mean, they still. I mean, they've been referring to them as SKT T1 for like ever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but
but that's just always been sort of like their name.
hmm
But I think they just officially made it. So like South, I think like South Korea Telecom merged with like the merged with T1.
Yep,
So now
yep. And now
it's
it's
just going to be
just
called
T1.
just T1 now.
Yeah, so that's
But
gonna be spring probably then of next
God,
year.
that's going to be so
It's
weird.
I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate it so much.
It's like freaking Gen G and Samsung.
Yeah.
It's just so, or even before that, it was KSV.
Oh yeah, they were
They were
yeah,
KSV for like a split,
for one
and then they
split.
yeah, for I think it was spring last year, spring 2018,
Mhm.
and then they turned to Gen G for summer 2018.
Yes, I was like
And then
I
they went to
remember because
Worlds.
I wasn't really like I was following professional league, but not like all the other regions like I do now, like a psychopath.
Yeah,
But I remember being like, who is this like QSV or QVS or not QVS? I totally forgot the name already. But I forgot. I'm like, who are they? And I'm like, oh, they're Samsung. Like they're the defending champions. And then I'm like, oh, and then they were gone, and I thought they got relegated, but I'm like, oh no, they're just Gen G now. Okay. But anyway, let's wrap it up with the final pick. Fnatic versus Team Vitality. Close game, I think. Does Vitality keep their hot streak? Oh, Ryan disconnected. So unfortunately, I will tell. Ryan's back. Discord
yep,
problems.
that's yeah. It was like you cut off like right in the middle of the story, and you just would not come back.
I was on.
Oh, I know. I'm sure it was entirely on my end. That's why I
Yep.
disconnected and reconnected. So
Yep.
I'm back.
So the prediction is Fnatic versus Vitality.
Oh my god, this is actually
one.
tough.
Tough one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of going along with my own little narrative. I think Fnatic might get upset by Excel trying something a little bit new,
hmm
and then they say, "Okay, we can't actually play around this time. We got to actually be serious." And they have blue side, which is actually pretty big in this patch. So I actually think Fnatic turned it around, and they don't go 0-2 on the Wii.
Yeah,
And they'll-
I don't think they'll go 0-2 on the week. I have them winning against Excel, but like I think you're right though. I think my issue with Vitality's been hot and they've been really good, but my issue is that one of the surprises that they've been good is because Attila and Jack Troll have been stepping up like crazy. And Hylissang does have some ending games, especially recently. But like I feel like Reckless, let's just give him an ADC. Like stop giving him Karma. It's working. It's just like with Double with Sona, it's working. But I don't
Apparently,
want to see
Hylissang
it.
had like that interview where like he says that he trusts Reckless's karma more than his own karma because apparently he said that he'll put the shield on himself and then run in, try to attack people, and then they'll just kill him. So he says he plays it much more conservatively, which is like how you need to play the champion.
Unless you're going against Garen, then you get a free life.
Yeah, just get that free low. Just poke him forever.
Oh, you can poke, and then he can try and get to you. Oh, you also have a better speed buff.
Yeah. You just keep poking him so that his passive never turns on.
Yep, yep.
Feels
Dumb.
bad.
Literally, you could pick Garen. If you're G2, you can absolutely pick Garen. Not in the Karma. Not into Karma.
Yeah. I mean, well,
It's,
then again, they were looking in the crowd, and it says G2. They saw signs that says G2 pick
I
Garen.
know, but the
Did you see the post
situation.
though? It was for, it showed I think it was Broxa I think it was Broxa and Youngbuck, and they were just sitting in the crowd with fake mustaches and
Yeah, yeah,
sunglasses.
I saw that.
That was actually really funny.
That's so great.
Trying to sabotage the G2 drafts with
Hmm.
signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, freaking like I said the last time I was in text form on the cast. I don't think G2 drops any more games aside from just hard inting.
Yep. Like picking Garen.
Like
And
like
that was
picking
it.
Garrett top
I mean, it was. People say
just for
it wasn't
funsies.
Garen's fault because the bot lane got crushed as well. True,
Mhm.
but Garen did 1.8k damage.
Yeah. The Garen was a big part of it.
The Garen was
Like
also a major part of the
if
situation.
it's like if Cabo was on a champion that was actually like a champion,
Yeah,
then maybe he could have actually done something.
yeah. I'm like,
It
wow.
wouldn't just be it wouldn't be an actual like 2v5
Mhm.
for for G2.
Mhm. But yeah.
But yeah, I still say that that Vitality definitely has a way into this. I think if they win this game and they beat SK and they're just like and they just shoot up to 9-7
Ooh.
and beating Fnatic and G2 on the second half, that's super huge for them.
Oh yeah.
And,
That
and
that.
I would be I'd be super happy for them. And I think that if they do that, it's very much possible that they just clean up the rest of the split and they end up in top form going into playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm like, I still don't have him over G2,
Oh no.
but I can see a second place if they head into that like that hot. They have the wild card to really mess with Splice. They have the like they're gonna either end against Splice and just give Splice free shutdown against them, or they have enough to pressure Splice and end them before 35 minutes for sure.
Yep.
I don't even know if G2 needs to end Splice before 35 minutes. I feel like they would still
I
be.
think the G2 could just end Splice in 20 minutes,
Yeah, that's also true.
which they kind of already did.
Yeah.
We kind of saw what happened
Yeah,
there.
we did.
I
We
think,
solved
but
it.
yeah, I think of all the teams in Europe right now, the only other team that could probably actively challenge Splice's entire game plan besides G2 is Vitality. It's just a matter of whether or
Yeah.
not Vitality is clean enough to actually execute it on it properly, like
Hmm.
G2 can.
Which they did. I mean, they took advantage of G2 having a very very poor draft, but
Mhm.
they still executed properly.
Yep.
And that
I
was
mean, you talk about a Garen top lane, but one of the biggest stories besides the Garen top lane was Perks and Mickey just getting smacked in
just
bot
gonna
lane by the
throw
bot
Mithy
by the
under the
by the Jack
bus.
the legendary Jack Troll Fiddlesticks
Yeah.
made its appearance again and just smashed everybody.
Listen, I hate it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember I was telling you I was actually texting you on Discord talking
Yeah.
about the Fnatic G2 game where I was at the store grocery
Yeah.
shopping, and it's like, oh man, this game is actually pretty close.
Yep.
Fnatic are actually doing pretty well. They're actually like 1,000 up. They're at good position, and I go to put my phone away just to go check out the line. I go take my stuff out to my car, start loading up. I check on the game, it's over.
Yep. G2
G2's
victory.
already won.
Go. Okay. Yep.
It's like, well, okay,
It's literally they got Baron, won a team fight, ended the game. Like, oh,
that's that.
cool.
That's the G2 Baron, baby.
It was
That's
literally
that's
a
like the
1k gold lead by 17 minutes, so dead even essentially, and then they
Yeah.
ended in 24 minutes.
Nice. Goes to show how long the line was at the store.
7 minutes. Oh man, but yeah, that should wrap things up. I think we got our predictions. We only have one more week of EU. Again, we won't. We've already done the wildcard podcast for this week with the major podcast that I rage quit on. So go check that out.
Talk about being insane and following these regions like you do.
Yeah, yeah. If you weren't there for the wildcard podcast last week, I did a 15-minute podcast with my mic not working. Didn't notice it on Streamlabs. So the podcast is only 25 minutes on YouTube because it's a very very brief rage-induced podcast that happened right after I realized the mic was not working. After I was talking to myself in my room for 50 minutes about my scenario. So go check that out, and then Sunday should probably have the LPL Sunday. I'm getting back from my brief vacation, 3-day weekend, Sunday. So should be fine because we're getting back early. As long as I'm not like exhausted or something, but I'm gonna have to catch up on the games. But yeah, we'll be back to normal, and then we won't have podcasts for a while. We'll talk more about that next week, though. So thank you guys for coming to watch, and we will see you Sunday for LPL. Good night.
Good night.